Week 145, and the name of this week is the power of sale properties. I've seen a ton of real estate agents talking about the increase in the number of power of sale properties on market right now. And for those that are unfamiliar, a power of sale property is one that it's a sale that is forced by the lender, the bank, the private lender, whoever it is. The conversation around power of sales has always been there. With there are foreclosures, there are power of sales, there are slight differences between the two. A lot of people seem to be super confused about power of sales because they think that if a bank is forcing the sale of a property, obviously that means the borrower, the homeowner, whoever it is in default. But they seem to think that there are like crazy deals on these properties. And perhaps that's just one too many episodes of HGTV back in the day. But power of sale properties go to market just like any other property. But that's not what we're talking about today. Number one, let's roll back a little bit. Week 145. This is December the 13th at 4 p.m. I'm a little bit late with this one, but week 145, meaning 145 weeks since March of 2020 that I've been covering the market in specific urban communities of Toronto and outside of the urban markets as well. And you can see all the 5 different neighborhoods that the Real Estate Raccoons / the Spring Team / me covers on the blog, thespringteam.ca/blog. And you can go all the way back to the beginning and read them all. The only team that is covering the market at this level week over week. We've been spotting all kinds of trends, but I really want to talk about the power of sales and how I feel that some people are being misled out there to believe that that is the signal for some sort of pending doom. So I was on TikTok the other day, and this agent was like, they weren't really making any claims, and that's the problem. A lot of these people that put out content sometimes don't necessarily take a position, but they put something out there without any context, and they're like, what are you supposed to do? That's a very good question. So in this particular case, it's like, well, here is a map of these power of sale properties. There are a few more than there were the last time they did that, and they just kind of left it there. But a couple of things. Number one, you can't specifically search for power of sale property. Like there's no field for power of sale. So the only way to really come up with this type of result is to use keywords like power of sale in the brokerage remarks or in the remarks somewhere, or even under the seller's name, because we can use that as a field to search in the back end here. You can put the top banks or lenders or whoever it is, the word trust, you can put the word power, you can put all of these keywords in various fields to help direct you towards what could be a power of sale. So I did that. And I came up with 22 in the Toronto area that hit with those words. Looking at those 22, there were a number of them. It was yesterday and I didn't take a screenshot. There were 10 of them were power of attorney. And a power of attorney is somebody who has signing authority over another for whatever reason. And it's being sold not under any sort of distressed situation. It's just a sale. And the owner can't sign for themselves. Either they're not here, they're not present, they've indicated a power of attorney, or they're mentally incapable of signing contracts, etc. Many reasons why a power of attorney would exist. So you have to remove those from that list. And then there's a development with the name Power on Power Street. It's right downtown at Richmond, where Richmond and King kind of fork off after you get off the highway there. So there were 5 more there. So when you really peel back all these layers, are there really that many power of sales or enough to indicate any sort of pending doom? My research says no. There's one building at Kingston Road East, I think it's 1350 Kingston or something, that has 6 power of sale units in one building. But they're all owned by one person. That one person has taken really high, risky loan from a private lender. And when you dig into who that person is, they have a deep connection to a developer. So it's not just some random person defaulting on something. This is a very specific situation that is not a signal of anything. So you've got to really, when you hear these things, I really hope that you immediately go to do a little bit more research because the drama is really not there. There are definitely going to be more of these distressed sales happening in over the next year for sure. There are some people that have taken some super risky loans. They have over leveraged themselves and they are going to need to sell over the next year, no doubt about it. But what I'm trying to do here is help you understand that there aren't enough of these people to flood the market with these properties to make any sort of real impact on the market. Now, is 2023 going to be a big growth year? Absolutely not. Listen, unless rates somehow fall off a cliff and buyers just flood the market again, but that's an unlikely scenario. 2023 is going to be a pretty flat year. I mean, I suspect that interest rates are going to start to come down in 2023, but they're going to come down a hell of a lot slower than they went up. That's for sure. We already know there's an increase happening in January. They told us at December 7th announcement. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now that indicates there's going to be definitely more balance, definitely more predictability in the market in 2023. And as we approach the end of 2023, I suspect that there will be some downward pressure on rates and buyer sentiment should start to improve at that time. Of course, we can't control what happens globally. And as we know, a lot of things happening globally are what's affecting our markets here today. But we also know that Toronto is one of the more resilient markets on this planet. It's proven over and over and over and over again. That's not debatable. So what we really need to do is keep our eye on the number of listings that are available. So remember, these power of sale properties go to market just like any other property. There's no special marketplace or it's like some deal zone that only specific people know about. They go to market just like anybody else. So right now, if we look at where we're sitting in terms of supply, we are down 38% in supply of houses in downtown and the surrounding communities over an 8-week period. During that same time, we've seen nearly a 78% decrease in the number of sales in those same communities. So to have a 78% decrease in sales and see the actual number of listings come down by a significant amount should show you a ton of strength in this market. And even if there are a whole bunch of power of sale properties that come to market, there won't be nearly enough to bring the listing supply to that critical point, which swings the market entirely in the buyer's favor across the board with deals everywhere. It's just not a realistic scenario, and there's so much room on the supply side to improve without affecting the market the way some people think it's going to be affected. So are there some darker times ahead? For sure. But we're not talking about big discount periods. The big drop has already happened, and we've seen that curve slow. And if you read my report from week 143, I believe, it was the Benjamin Tall market report that came out that I reviewed, had some really great information on that. So if you go back 2 weeks, you can see some information on that slowing curve there, on that sort of less drastic curve in terms of the number of, in terms of price drops and sales activity. So there's a lot of positive news coming from the world as well that some people aren't talking about. We should see some really great inflation numbers over the next few months. The prices of a lot of things have come down from their peak, especially lumber. So as things start to get a little less expensive, we should start to see some people's position on the market improve, and we should start to see some buyers get back into the market when they can see a little bit further into the future. But right now, like what's happening out there probably doesn't affect you. If you're happy, you own your home, you're chilling, your kids are in school, like you've got stuff going on, like what's happening right now should not be affecting you. There's no reason why you should go to market right now if you don't really have a plan to move on. Like just relax, just like most people are doing. Right now, like we've said many times, amazing opportunities for move up buyers. There are phenomenal deals in place for some less than ideal properties, some properties that maybe have been neglected by a developer or some corners have been cut, etc. Types of properties like that have great room in terms of negotiation. Anyway, there's a property that's listed at $1.7 million on one of the East Leslieville streets right now that there's a chance that we can get a couple $100,000 off on that thing, which would have been unheard of a few months ago. So there are some deals for less than ideal properties that require a little bit of work still perhaps, but there's an interesting time ahead, but a more predictable time than we have had before, which is actually kind of nice. Because remember, in Toronto, we're coming out of an incredibly aggressive seller's market for a really long time. So it's very easy to see a time like this as like bad. But really, this is more balanced, normal, and predictable. It's the kind of market we haven't been used to. So anyway, that's generally the sentiment for this week. I don't believe there are any signals out there that make me worry, any more worried than I was a few months ago. So looking through the blog, just make sure you go there, thespringteam.ca/blog. I'm keeping this week really, really short because, I've got a lot to do. It's almost the end of the year. Got to get the team ready to close out the year. There's a lot that we have to do. But I am like 2 subscribers away from 300 subscribers here. So I need to get to that 300 milestone ASAP. Please help me out there. If you've gotten any sort of value out of any content that I've ever put out there, smash that subscribe button. Make sure you are hitting the like button. And I want to see some comments going on because I thrive on these conversations on my YouTube videos. So see you out there. Thank you so much. springteam.ca/blog. And I will see you in week 146 next week. Real Estate Raccoons out.